first day of January 2024. In our previous discussion on live video, we talked about how we can change this unitary system of government that we have in Africa that is not helping us. But now that we have beginning to find out that our problem is the system of government we are facing, our problem is the way we are being administrated, that the government is not for the people. So that is the reason why we are talking about how do we depart from this system of government? How do we stop Africans going back? How do we stop Nigeria going back? So that is where we come to the issue of referendum. A referendum is a civil something. But when I discuss referendum to so many of my subscribers here who really chat me up, before I discovered that so many citizens of Nigeria and Africans thought that referendum is a crime. That when you talk about referendum, they will charge you for treason.
That's
So I say, come on. Yes, that is what they were thinking. So when I spoke with a lot of them, they do chat me. So I was talking to them that referendum is just like vote, where you go and cast your vote for who will become your president. You go and cast your vote for who will become your governor. That is how referendum is. In fact, voting is referendum. Like in Wikipedia, I define referendum. You say it's a direct vote by the electorate on a proposal, law, or political issues. Simple. It's just a direct vote. You go and vote for or against. So I was now educating them the meaning of referendum. I say this is one of the major problems. Political elite in Africa has made us to think that when you call for a referendum, it becomes a crime. A referendum is never a crime. I think this is an avenue for you to educate us more about your Afro-democracy, how we can depart from this unitary system of government through a referendum. We really need to teach people that referendum is not a. I was so surprised how people were thinking that referendum
we all know
was
about is all
a
about
crime.
electing the president, electing all those
Exactly.
all those kind of things.
So
that
you are
is
welcome
misleading,
to this broadcast. I really want you to introduce yourself and tell us what do you talk about referendum in departing from this system of government in your book, The Afro-Democracy, The New African Order.
Well, my name, Mr. Clavis, is, I told you that's my favorite name. I really like it. I'm the author of the book, Afro-Democracy, The New African Order. So I'm talking about the New African Order. I'm talking about turning things upside down, if you want to say it that way, socio-politically. So turning things upside down.
Really upside down.
Yeah. By turning things upside down, I'm just taking ourselves back from where we came from. Because when the white men came to Africa, they turned our system upside down. So we have to do the same to go back where we were before, because that is where our glorious life dwells. I can say it that way. So if we want to be glorious as a race, we have to turn things upside down. That is the reason I'm talking about the New African Order. So as the world is talking about the New World Order, that is certainly and factually against us as black people. I came with that idea of also counter-attacking that with the New African Order. So we have to establish a system in our countries that will make the New World Order unsuccessful. That is my question right here. And that's my purpose. So for us to go further with this, we have to review the political system. And the political system we have in our countries probably not, factually, does not benefit the majority of people. So
exactly.
We talk about a leader being elected by the majority. What kind of majority they are talking about? Because if it is the majority electing the leader, then the system should serve the majority. But oppositely, it is the minority that is being served. So who elected the majority? Who's being served? The minority. There's something wrong within that narrative. So we have to review the political system and ask few questions and give answers to those questions as well ourselves. So we ask questions ourselves, we answer them as well ourselves, without referring to what we were told. Like you are saying here, referendum, as we all know about that, when the president wants to amend the constitution to suit him or to suit the interest of the people who hate us, they call for referendum. And when you go there, they manipulate everything, they manipulate the result, and to say that the people have decided. How can the people decide against themselves? That is what I don't understand. Here is a president who's been in power, like in other African countries. He's been serving for decades, like 1 or 2 presidential terms. He wants to to be there again, and then he will call for a constitutional referendum. So who are the people who will vote for such a leader? I don't think so. They are known, but they will manipulate everything to serve themselves. But here then we are calling upon the conscience of Black people that we can still go for a referendum, but this time against the enemy, the common enemy we have. So when we're going for a referendum for something like that, as I've spoken in the book, we'll be discussing about a constitution that is not a Republican constitution, because in Afro democracy, I'm standing against the Republic. I'm standing against the presidencies, because the presidency, as I said, it is a concrete on which Western power resides, sits. So all it takes is the signature of one person, the president of the Republic, that we never elected. A person that has been placed there, I can say the employee of the founder of the person who created the presidency. So all it takes is his signature, and then we are all doomed. We are all condemned within a system that that is foreign to us. So we have to go for a referendum, a constitutional referendum, to review or to amend our constitution, and that constitution will include the different states. I'm saying the different nation within that nation that is a republic. Because when I see the African country, I see a nation by the white man within which there are also nations that identify us. So I'm identified according to my perfect nation that is included within a nation that was created by a white man. So we're all packed, we're all grouped together with different values, and then we got a constitutional, a Republican constitution imposed on us, and that is bringing a lot of conflict among ourselves, because we are not common as people. We are not. We are different. So all we need is a kind of constitution that will give each and every kind of people, group of people, within our differences, a type of authority, a type of autonomy, a type of power that will keep us from hating one another, because there is nothing as such as it is that tribe over there, it is the tribe of this leader here doing this, doing that, stealing, bringing insecurity in our country. There will be no such, because what would be the purpose of me from a particular tribe to allow bandits, to allow rebels to get in the country and kill people if I'm already in power? What will be the point? But the only moment I'll allow that, if I'm feeling disadvantaged, if I'm feeling disfavored, if I'm feeling left out, then I will sell myself out, just at least to have my hands on that natural resource, oil, diamond, gold, whatsoever, that we can easily share among ourselves. But if we are not able to share that among ourselves, it's not because we are greedy. It's not because we hate each other. What makes it look like we hate each other? It is the political system that has been imposed on us. We are all grouped around one structure of power. So all of us, we need to get there. We believe that for me to live that better life, I must become a president, for my people around me to feel, considered, to feel honored. They must elect someone from their land, from their tribe. So how many tribes do we have in the country? How many of us then would like to become a president? That is the conflict right there. That is the clash right there. So for that purpose, I don't support the presidency at all. So all we need, I keep saying clearly, African presidents are all illegitimate. They are all illegitimate because the presidency was created on the basis of fraud. I can say that colonial fraud. They took power from our leaders and they created a structure whereby they put someone they can control. So it is kind of a colonial fraud that I do not support. Even today, if I were told to go and become the president, for what purpose? Because even if you have good ideas, even if you have good plans for the people, the moment we get there, it is no longer you, it is not you alone. The presidency, it is another universe. It does not emanate from the leader who's sitting there.
Okay.
It is the others. That's the
Are you
point.
trying to say that even though we have a good person going in the position of president, that when he gets there, he can't function because of the system?
He can't, because I remember about the Nigerian president, Mr. Buhari, by that time. I remember talking to a friend who was also from Nigeria, Akim Adegoke, in Johannesburg. So he was like, that day, I remember him telling me that Buhari, I don't know whether it's true, you'll confirm that, he promised to give the minimum wage to Nigerians.
Yeah.
You can see some kind of good ideas. Just see the youth getting the minimum wage. So whether you are working or not, you get something like, in
There
many
was a
European countries.
proposal for
Then
that, but
how could
it
you
was
be
dead.
tempted? How could you be tempted to pick up a gun, a weapon to go and kill someone? No. For what purpose? Because you can afford your food, your house, your clothes, whatsoever. You can afford traveling wherever you want to go, as long life goes on peacefully. So why he couldn't do that? That's the question. Because there is this system imposed on us whereby they have to keep African countries impoverished. They have to keep it impoverished so that they can have, that way in of saying that, okay, we are coming in Africa to give them some kind of financial aid whatsoever. But when they do that, that is where we are trapped. That's where we are screwed. You see, African countries indebted, a country indebted. How can you imagine that? As a person, we have limited resources. I would believe, I understand if you're indebted. But as a country, how can we explain such like a country is indebted? How did we get there? And who put us in that situation? It is that one man. It is that one man that even before coming to the presidency, he could have said that, okay, when we get there, we will pay back the debts we have. We can still do that, with all the resources we have. But when they get there, they don't allow them just to finish paying off the debt. The debt must be there because that is the way, of coming after us. Okay, you don't have the means to pay, we're going to take it all. We don't have the means to pay, we're going to take this. And when they take it from that, they take even more than what we owe it. So a president can come in, but will not work according to his own aspirations. He will not work according to his own visions. That's what I'm saying. It is fruitless to be standing and fighting for the presidency. It is fruitless. And we can still go further to prove that the presidency was established just to control us, not to build our countries. It is
Okay,
why
how do we remove these people in this process of referendum? Because I see that so many political elites are against referendum. They are afraid of referendum. When you mention referendum, I told you earlier from the beginning of this video that a lot of people thought referendum is a crime.
Actually, they are not afraid of going for a referendum. They are not afraid. The only person, sorry, as I said in the book Afro Democracy, in this process, the only loser is the external enemy we have. That is the only loser. Because whatsoever we'll do will still benefit us. Whether you are in power or not, whether you're in the presidency or not, it will still benefit us. Just imagine how much is the West making out of our resources. And they're making that through the presidency. But if you can cut that link off, whatsoever that is taken out of our country will remain within our country. That is to say that the little one they are stealing, the little one they are bragging, sorry, the little whatsoever they're making that they are bragging with, as powerful people, will even double or even more than that, because we have more in our countries, than before as it was taken out. So they are not afraid of the referendum. But
Okay,
the
the
only
question.
person who's afraid is the person, I mean, the unknown entity behind them. That
All
is
right.
the only person that is afraid. And we don't care about that person because it's not even of our color. We don't care about
Very
that.
good. Why is it that when it comes to election, it's easy for us to have election every 4 years? If we are to even have election every 2 years, we can afford it and we can have it. But to have a referendum about the state of the nation or about to review constitutions or to disintegrate power to regions, why do we find it difficult to have referendum?
As I'm saying, you see, it is easy for us to go for presidential elections because, sorry, what's going on with my throat? Because we do not elect. And when we go for the presidency, actually, it is the West trying to select who will be the suitable candidate to facilitate the looting of our countries. There's nothing about serving the people. Democracy, it's nothing like power by the people. It is wrong. So it's about electing the person who get, the interest of the West going while we are impoverished. So that one must be easy to reach, to organize. But when we talk about what will take us out of that slavery, out of that subjugation, it is something that the West is afraid of. And not only the West, but also the leaders that are on the ground are also afraid of, because if we can realize that some of those leaders who've been in power and committing crimes, killing people, whatsoever, they will be afraid of their lives if they are out of power. How are they going to be treated? In my book, I say that we must all forgive them. We must assure them that if we can all cooperate to get to that point whereby we'll organize a referendum, a constitutional referendum that will take the republic out of our way and establish what include our values, then we must forgive the leader that will make it easy for us to get there. Because if we are not moving forward, it's because somewhere the leader who's in power, as I said in the previous video, we cannot have a president in Africa who's not a criminal. That is very difficult to make. So that president must have some kind of criminal records, and the wise will hold him on that. Like, man, if you stay, you are protected. If you're out, we'll be the first ones to take you to ICC. So that leader will be like, oh man, okay, I will do as you say, because he owes his freedom from the presidencies, from the people who made the presidency. So if us black people, we're still standing and saying, okay, that leader, the moment he stepped down, he'll be arrested, whatsoever the plans we can come with and tell him about, he will never agree with us, because he knows what we are planning about him the moment he's out of the presidency. So it is not easy for us to go for the referendum as long the leader in place is not assured of his safety once he's out of power. What are we suggesting for him? What are we suggesting? Look at this French president, Sarkozy, Obama. They accuse them about whatever is going on in Libya. But when they got out of power, who prosecuted them? Who prosecuted them? They did that for the interest of those countries. But why not with us as well? If here is a leader who's saying, oh, well, we are going back to a system that will include all of us, not following whatsoever for the West. Why should we not say, okay, if there is such a leader pronouncing himself out, we should also forgive him, because that will be for the interest of the people, black people as we are. So, but contrary and oppositely, activists, the opposition, and all those people will be like, okay, the moment it's out, we'll prosecute it. The moment that is what I call the country system. We keep, stabbing each other. We keep, pushing each other in the way that, it will just take us. It will just keep us prisoners in a system that we are trying to depart from. It will just keep us trapped in there. And for that matter, I came up with a plan. With a statement of saying that whether it is the presidency, whether it is the ruling party, whether it is the opposition, none of them is the hope of the people. And that's where, again, I added that political regime change is not the hope of the people, because the very same leader who's today blaming the leader who's in place like a criminal, incompetent, whatsoever, the moment himself will be elected as newly coming from the opposition, he will fall in the same category. Because I remember when Mr. Buhari was campaigning, I had another friend, Mr. Obilano, he was like, this man will change Nigeria. This man will finish Boko Haram. This man, he was saying that he's from Nigeria, you see. But what happened? What happened today? He finished his term. They're still talking about Boko Haram. They're still talking about suffering. So it is not about what we have here. It is about the system, the presidential system, the republic that is established there, that even if you are talented, even if you have all the qualifications from the best universities of the world, you will not do it good if you are elected as a president. Because, first of all, it's not the people electing. It is the one selecting who will be there.
That is very right. And for this purpose, as I told you, there is a national discussion. Like that senior advocate of Nigeria I told you about, Onisagbakoba, he was talking about the Nigerian government should call a national conference and even ask question, do we want to be in one Nigeria? Do we want to be in one country? He is highlighting that in 1914, that there was something that the British did, that was amalgamation. They amalgamated territories that don't have one culture, one idea, one school of thought, one religion.
That is the
they
whole
amalgamated
Africa, right?
525 languages and ethnic different people together, and they called them a nation.
It is wrong.
In the year 2014, that makes it 100 years. There was an agreement that after 100 years, there will be another conference. People come together to agree. Are we still going to continue this marriage? That was what the senior advocate of Nigeria was highlighting. He was saying that there is a need for a constitutional amendment.
But,
First of all,
I'm not stopping you. Just to say something short. Where did they get that idea of 100 years? Who suggested that? The British?
No. you know, during amalgamation,
Yeah.
I believe they will, I don't know, I'm just suggesting this. I
Yeah.
believe people were thinking, are we going to get like this together? Maybe people were thinking about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was how part of the agreement of the amalgamation stipulated 100 years that they will review the marriage. I call it marriage. Whether
So that was just like
people,
allowing the British to loot the country over 100 years, because they knew
you
that it was
understand.
not going to work.
But after
Even
100
the people
years,
were asking questions, as black as they were, they knew it was not going to work. But they
yeah,
were,
after 100 years,
powerless. They
does
were
it
powerless. They
happen?
couldn't do anything. They just
It didn't
observed.
happen. It didn't happen after 100 years. So that is the mess we are in today. So now people are asking, since this thing is not working for us, if it is working, why are people dying? Why is it that military are unable to protect the country? Our economy keep on funding. We have gold, we have zinc, we have different kind of element, we have crude oil. When you look at all these things, you say there is an irony. There is an opposite of what we have and what we are seeing.
Yeah.
Nigeria before, when you hear about Nigerian army, we'd go to United Nations peacekeeping mission,
Yeah.
ECOMOG, and so on and so forth. They call them mighty warriors. But look at mighty warriors
Well,
unable to protect their territory. There is something absolutely wrong. And that is why everybody is now agitating for a referendum to separate this country, or let us talk whether we'll return to the first constitution Nigeria has. You know, the first constitution before the military coup in Nigeria, even this present constitution we are using, it was military that brought it for us. Nigeria as a people don't have their people's constitution. So the first constitution they were using after independence was that 1963 constitution. This constitution gives power to regions, not a unitary government. And that was what made Nigeria to become a great country. Nigeria was very great.
That's it. That's it.
But after the military coup, different things happened. Today, we have a junk called a constitution. We have a junk called a constitution today. You understand? So the problem there now we are talking about is, how can we do this thing? How can we make it to be verified? A lot of people are aware. A lot of people, the man said he discussed it with our current president now. He said he discussed it with the current Senate president, that even senators, that how they felt when he was discussing it, he thought they never even knew their power. Because the senators, the legislators, they have the power to do this thing in 1 week if they want to do it.
That's what I'm saying. It's possible. It's still
They have
possible.
the
Remember
power
when
to
you
do
saying that
it.
it's still possible.
So that is the situation. That is why I am asking you, are you sure that these people are not afraid of referendum? Because if they are not afraid, this thing could be done within a month and we have the result we deserve.
They are not afraid of that. They are not actually Africans. Whatever you go through in Africa, it's not because we are cowards. It's not because we are unwilling. It's not because we are clueless. But in a political position, there are some kind of fear. No, fear is way too much, but some kind of avoidance. I shouldn't approach this topic. I shouldn't approach this context because in a way they want to keep their job. In another way they want to keep their benefits. They want to be in the good book, or of the president whatsoever. So here's the president as well, as we're talking about, who has a lot of power in his hands, the military, the economy whatsoever. He can decide on. So they try to avoid that. But why is the president given such much power? The only person we know who's greedy of that much power is the person who created the presidency. He wanted to have power over many things so that it can be easy for him to go through, our country, to infiltrate, to steal. So the president, as such, it looks like he has power, but it is not his power actually. It is the power of those who put him there. Because if today he's major, he has the military, he's really scaring the people in the government. But if the West decide to overturn him, to take him out, it will just be the matter of minutes, of seconds. So how can you explain that the first person who got power, who got the military, has just been, housed like that? That is too easy. So who really got the might of the military in the country? Is it the president or the people, behind him and above him? So the senators, all those people, they are not afraid, but they just try to avoid the topic. Now, if they can be together, they can come together and speak, as one voice, this thing is achievable. We will achieve it in such a way that, wow, we won't believe. And the only loser, as I said even in the book, Afro Democracy, the New African Order, the only loser in this whole process is the West, not us. It is the West, not us. Now, when we talk about the way of constitutional referendum, yeah, it's possible. But all I think about is the president, as I was saying earlier. What are we proposing that president as he gets out of power? Because even today, if he decides to be together with other politicians and change the political system, the people will put him there, not those who elected him, because we don't elect. The people will put him there. His employer will come after him. Like, if you do, you die. If they will intimidate him. And for that matter, it would be like, okay, the people are dying in a certain region. Rebels are there, terrorists are there, but why is the president not sending the army? Because the people will lead him, for him to lead us the way we are, telling him like, don't do. Don't do. You see? They are with him, telling him not to do. They are also with the sponsors of those terrorists, telling them what to do. So that is the issue right there. And that's what I call the country system. They know where to press for us to be, unstable and all those kind of things. They know where to press. The African country is a system. Now, how can we get out of that? How can we get out of that? It's by trying to free the regions, the states from that yoke of the presidency, whereby you only feel recognized when you are in the central government, when you are a minister, when you are a president, or when your tribe is ruling. That is where you can see, well, we have a country that is rich whatsoever. But when it is not your tribe in power, well, you feel left out. You just be getting from other people out there that you are from a rich country, but yourself, you think about your background, you think about how you grow up. It is this deep pain within yourself. So we can talk about constitutional referendum, but we must make sure that the president that will allow that is taken care of once it's out. We must protect him from the worst. When they will be saying like, okay, he allowed the genocide of whatsoever the people in such a region, us, we must stand up and saying, if it happened, it's not because of himself, but because the West as well was after him. So we must protect him. We shouldn't come and say, okay, you did that, we will take you to the ICC. That fear alone will make him not to allow the constitutional referendum to take place. Because who is that person who will let it happen and then find himself in prison? Who won't do that? I won't do that as well. But if I'm assured that safety, then who's the West? He does not have the same color as me,
All right. I want you to look at referendum in this manner. In Nigeria, they are two, I call them activists. One is Sunday Igboho from the western part of the country, and another one is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from the eastern part of the country. And these people, what they were fighting is for just self-determination to have their own nation out of Nigeria, out of the amalgamation that took place in 1914.
Yeah.
But it was very brutal the way the government handled them, tried to assassinate them, tried to kill them. They did all sort of things. And now they have DSS custody. They are carrying out process to release them, political. What I'm trying to say is this. In Africa, especially Nigeria, when you are championing a revolution like a referendum, the government sees you as a criminal.
Not the government. Not the government, Mr. Okocha. Not the government, Mr. Okocha. As I can say, the government, the central government, is foreign to us. The central government is foreign to us. The presidency is foreign owned. It is like a company of foreigners in our countries. So it's not the government looking at them as criminal whatsoever. But the person who established the system in our countries, represented by the president, is the one who's afraid to lose the benefit, to lose control. That is why they push them to label those people as dangerous. But they are not. They're not. When they say that black people have self-hate, like we don't recognize each other, through ourselves, it is wrong. The only thing that makes us not recognize each other is the fact that we are fighting for one purpose. I want to lead, you want to lead. I want to lead, you want to lead. So we are already in the So in that way, I will never see through you as myself. I will never see that. But if we can take that cloud off, I will recognize that this is my black brother. He will recognize my culture. I will recognize his culture. That is it. I'll be interested even to learn about his tradition, you know. But when it is we all have to converge to the presidency, then we don't care, you know. It would be like, okay, why is that tribe, why is that nation trying to get loose from others? So if it is a rich one, assuming that that is where we have more resources, do you think a nation that is poor, that does not have almost, they will not allow that nation to lose, to get loose. They will not allow that, because as together, if the president emerged from that poor nation, he will be like, okay, I'll be looting that rich nation, that rich state, that rich province. So the president will not allow it go. Now, in the book Afro Democracy, I developed theories, I developed ideologies on how we can share the resources of the country among ourselves, that even if there is a nation that is poor, that does not have any resources, they will still benefit from that. They will still benefit from that, you know, on equal ground. And in that way, there will be nothing like hate, doubt, worries, you know, whatsoever will come together to discuss about that. We'll accept it, because what we're fighting for is the food. If I have
Why do
food in
you?
my mouth,
Yeah,
then
why do you
I
think that government came? Why do you think that government came ruthlessly on these people that were seeking for referendum?
because that is the way to our glorious life. That is the way to our glorious life. Because if they could succeed in that way, other nations as well will come together and do that. That who's going to lose? The poor
But
nation.
a
Who's
lot
going
of
to lose?
countries has done this. Like when you come to see like Russia, so many countries around Russia, they were about 6 countries were together, but today they are doing fine. So I believe countries can still disintegrate and still be doing fine.
When you see that, when you see those countries, there's nothing like France stealing from that country. There's nothing like Britain imposing who will lead there. You see, there's nothing such. There's nothing like a certain country in the West whose economy depends on that country. So whatever you can do, yeah, they'll try to watch, they'll try to observe. But when it comes to the African context, where we know like Western countries are almost nothing without Africa, they will not let it happen. They will not let it happen. And the person, you know, having the command to make it, you know, unsuccessful, it is the president. It is the presidency. He will make sure that if there's something like that, they deploy the military, they deploy the police to go and, you know, brutalize those people. Now, that is the very same president I'm talking about. Why is he doing that? Because first of all, for him to sit there, he must be a criminal. First of all, for him to sit there, he must be a criminal. So he has to do that for him to be free. For him to be free. Otherwise, when the West will just say, okay, that is a war criminal, that is, you know, a human rights violator, let's take him to the ICC. Who else will defend him? Who else will defend him? So the only way he can still be free as a criminal but a president is to do, you know, whatsoever that will not benefit black people but the West. So when it is the case of this activist coming out trying to be autonomous as a nation, they have to recommend him in the way that other people will not follow that way. They have to do that. You see, so if we can come together with this constitutional referendum and assure that president that, look, you belong to us, you are one of us, no one is going to prosecute you, because that is what the West is telling them as well. Kill them, do whatsoever, still we will protect you. We will protect you. And that kind of protection you cannot get it from us. Because what? We are regulated by the law, we are regulated by the constitution, we are regulated by the institutions of our state, whereby if the president has stolen the money, he must be prosecuted whatsoever. But the West, seeing him stealing, they are protecting him even. So if the West can protect him, despite the fact that he's committing crimes, why should we not do that, provided that it will benefit us? The West is protecting that leader, and they're benefiting from that leader. Why should we not protect that leader as well, provided that we have a discussion over a system that will benefit us? Why us Africans should just stand in the way that we are waiting for him? The moment we step out of there, he will rot in jail. Why is the West not saying that? Okay, still, as long as we protect our interests. Our narrative should be that, man, get out of that. Get us out of that system, but we will protect you no matter what. That should be our narrative. And then things will start changing, you know, a little by a little bit, but we still get there. Because where else can you feel safe? In the hands of the white man or in the hands of the black man?
The hands of your people. The hands
You
of
will
your
feel
people.
safe in the hands of your own people. But what we fear from our own people is that hostile mind, like, okay, the moment you get out of there, we will show. If I'm a president, then I'll show you before you show me. That is the situation right here. So he will run away to the people who will protect him. And who are those people? Our enemies. Sit there, rule, do whatsoever will protect you. We must stand as activists. We must stand as the people that we are willing to protect our father, our president, provided that he leads us to a system that will serve the majority, that will include all of us. Finished. And I say that in the book as well.
All right. What about a system? What about a system where the president don't want?
It's not him not wanting that. It is the West. The people who establish the current system in our countries. They are the ones who don't want any change, because that is how they are making it possible in their own country. That is why they are so-called superpowers, But I don't take them as superpowers. They rule Africa. They dominate in Africa because of the presidency. When they come to Africa, where do they land? They don't land in that village. They don't land in that land of that traditional ruler. They land in the presidency. When it is a minister, not even the president of a Western country, coming to Africa, he's welcomed by the president. When it is a religious leader coming to Africa, welcomed by the president. So why only everything going on to the presidency? Why? You are the Pope came to Africa. Why not the church leader in the country to go and welcome him at the airport? Why should it be the minister, the president? Why? So the power of the West in Africa, it is the presidency. If you can just take out that presidency, the West is powerless. The West is powerless.
I really want you to educate the viewers in these last 10 minutes the importance of referendum and why they should not see referendum as a crime. Because I told you earlier that people, maybe the government must have been psycho-conditioned them that maybe if you carry out referendum or you go after doing things of referendum, you want people to go and vote, that it is a crime. So how would you tell these people that referendum is not a crime?
Now, to answer that question, I would like to put it this way: that first of all, they took away our way, our universal way of identifying ourselves. No, they don't want us to identify according to a certain tribe, according to a certain land of origin that is proper to us, that is in line with our values. But they want us to identify according to the republic, and that is wrong. That is wrong. So in that very same way, when we refer to Western countries, they change the laws each and every time to make it more benefic for the people, you see. So each and every time you see that they've changed the law of employees, they've changed the law of landlord, they've changed the law of homeowners, or they change the laws each and every time. So they go on referendums, they go on elections. So why not with us Africans when it comes to issues that concern us? You see, so voting, it's good, but in which context do we vote? We vote to elect the president and other political members whatsoever. But when they constitute the government, they don't serve our interest. They serve the interest of our common enemy. So right now we have to stand up and elect the elite that will serve us. So going on voting, going on referendum, it's not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing, because that is where we can sit together and try to weigh options that will suit us best and let out the other options that are not making us as beneficiaries of our land, of our resources, or whatsoever the concern is about that meeting. So we have to go on constitutional referendum, and that is not a bad thing as such, but it is a way to express ourselves. We have to do that in the way that we consider ourselves first, and not the person who's unknown to us. And that person is the owner of the presidency, is the one who created the presidency. So that's how we have to make it. Going on a referendum, it's not an offense, but we just have to question ourselves. Is the political elite going to allow that? Yes, they will allow that if they are assured some certainty, some kind of benefits, like as they get out of their comfort, they will still go to a better comfort than this. You see, at least they will not have any influence on top of them, above them, as it is the case today with central governments, influenced all the time by Western powers whatsoever. So let us invite them and assure them that when they get out of this comfort they're in, as the members of the government, as the presidential figure whatsoever, they will still go for a better comfort that will not even make us facing whatsoever we are facing right now, like insecurity, food crisis, joblessness, or whatsoever. That will be the better life. That is the glorious way of black people. So let us stand together and go on that referendum. That will still be okay.